Hello and welcome, DefiTimes community and dear CryptoCeto community. We just decided to make a very quick take about the recent events. I think we all watched the live stream. CryptoCeto man, how are you doing? And what are your thoughts on the live stream, man?
Yeah, it's scaring because it's Wednesday evening, and the best thing that we can do is watch a live stream of a guy to talk about cryptocurrencies, and then make a video to talk about this guy. So that's
in that sense. Cheers, man. Cheers, man. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Cheers,
That's
man.
something maybe
cheers, man. Be appropriate here.
Something to think about. Cheers. I'm not even prepared. I don't even have beers here. So, anyways, that's bear market vibes priced in. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, Elon is definitely, I mean, he's the richest man in the world. He runs very successful companies, and he broke the ice on two or three things today that I think are worth talking about. It was funny because when we talked about it right after the interview, I was like, yeah, I don't know. Nothing really exciting to me, nothing breaking news for me. But as we talked about it, I think actually maybe that's also the way Elon just talks. He doesn't talk with much excitement. Maybe he was also tired or whatever. But actually, there were a lot of hidden messages. So let's talk about them.
So why do you think there was nothing special? So what makes you think that?
I mean, what I thought is maybe that he would, announce, for example, that Tesla accepts Bitcoin again, or that I don't know, they work on a product or something about mining, because he has been involved with the community, or even something about Doge. I was so surprised that he spoke rather negative about Doge or didn't really wanted to talk about it. Maybe that was also part of the conference agreement because it is a big Bitcoin focused conference and more professional environment, right? And Kathy Wood from ARK Invest was there, so that's like very high level investment people. You don't talk about dogs and Doge and meme. But yeah, I thought maybe something big would be announced, and actually it was, right. So I think we can talk about start from there. The 2-3 biggest announcement that he dropped without much excitement. He just dropped it in a side phrase, right? So I think that also killed the whole anticipation and hype around it. But I'll share first what I think were the two biggest announcements, and then you can complement that list. I know you have some other thoughts as well. But for me, obviously, the biggest one was that Elon holds Ethereum. Cheers on that.
Cheers, yeah.
Elon is one of us. He's not a maxi. He was even making fun of maxis in the past couple of weeks, of Bitcoin maximalists, right? That only believe Bitcoin is the one and only that fixes everything, and everything else is a scam. Vitalik is a scammer. ETH is inflation and just to enrich the founders. Turns out Elon holds ETH, which is great. He also said, however, that in relation to his Bitcoin holdings, ETH is rather small, as well as Dogecoin. So those are the three assets that he holds outside of his own stocks of Tesla and Spacex. And the second one for me was that SpaceX holds Bitcoin as well. So that's also big news.
Yeah, man.
He just said that in a side sentence, right? Like he didn't make it big. He didn't say, "Oh, I'm pleased to announce that we just bought this and this much of Bitcoin with SpaceX." He just said it like, "Oh yeah, SpaceX also holds Bitcoin, by the way." So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he knows how big of an influence he has on the crypto markets, and I think he uses it very wisely because if he said, like, if he announced it in a big way, he knows, like, I'm gonna pump this price, so let's keep it small,
I mean, he even said this, right? He even said that they noticed when Tesla announced that they invest in Bitcoin and that they also accept Bitcoin as payment method. He noticed that it had a big impact on the entire market, right? And he kind of like launched this FOMO wave and the 65K dollar peak for Bitcoin. So I think at the same time, given that he said that he took the whole meme coin hype and potentially also the energy debate that he raised, and also that Tesla doesn't accept Bitcoin anymore, he potentially took that to slow down this excitement in crypto and slow down the markets, which worked, right? We have seen a 50, 60, for some coins even 70% drop. Dogecoin is at what's 15, 16 cents. It was at almost 80 cents. So that's a lot of percentage in loss. So yeah, what do you think? Do you think what do you guys think is the big plan of Elon? Do you think like long term he's going all in crypto, or do you think he just wants to invest in it and doesn't really care about it? What do you think is his secret plan?
I think we shouldn't think too much about Elon Musk in that sense. I think that's too much interpretation, and I'm really hyped right now, and I'm really enjoying this moment after all the Elon FUD. Nonetheless, it's still Elon Musk, and we saw what he has done recently on Twitter. So I view it just as very positive that he recognized DeFi, and we didn't talk about this yet. He said that he is a fan of DeFi, and I think this is kind of a statement. But what I really want to highlight here is, and that this was like a pure release somehow. FABI and me, we were just like in a very nice park before the interview. We drank some beer and we said, hey, what do you think what will happen tonight? And FABI was a little bit worried, like, hey, if something would happen, like Elon overacting also, or like all the or if he would share all the FUD he shared on Twitter previously, I mean, the story could have ended very, very differently. And in that sense, I'm just released that there was no, big FUD in this sense. And the second takeaway from that meeting was that as long as Elon is in an environment with a Katie Wood, with Jack Dorsey also, he's not like overacting than we saw it on Twitter previously. So I think that he acted very differently compared to his actions on social media, and this was for me like the key takeaway. And again, I said it when Elon acted very, very bearishly on Twitter. I don't give a fuck what Elon does, because at the end of the day, Bitcoin is bigger than Elon, DeFi is bigger than Elon. All of this movement is bigger than Elon's companies, for example. So I don't really care about this. But for me, the important takeaway was that as long as Elon is in an environment with serious people such as Casey Wood, such as Jack Dorsey, he is, he's a little bit calmed down, and he really recognizes what's going on in DeFi and Ethereum. This was my takeaway, and in that sense, I am very happy about the meeting. But yeah, I'm curious. What do you think, Fabi?
So let me just recap, and then Fabi can add his thoughts. We have SpaceX SpaceX invested in Bitcoin, Elon holding Ethereum. Then Juri said also Elon talked positively about DeFi. He said, I like DeFi as well. I think it's a good concept or something like that. And Fabi, what do you think? What was the most important one for you besides those three?
Yeah, I think my expectations were a little bit different from your expectations, because you were kind of surprised that he didn't drop a bomb. He didn't say something very or anything that is new, basically. But my expectations were different because I expected him to be bearish, actually. So I expected him to be like as bearish as he acted on Twitter. And that's why my expectations were very low, and I even like expected the market to dump. And that's why I mean like the three takeaways that I have come to after the conference was actually three things that I even tweeted out like a few hours ago. My first takeaway is, which is kind of funny, Elon is bullish on Bitcoin, Elon is bullish on Ethereum, and then Elon is bullish on DeFi. So that's kind of like my three main takeaways, because I didn't expect that. And I mean, that was really surprising to me. And I think that will kind of heat up the market again. And I'm really excited about the next few weeks again, because Elon kind of like showed his true face, what he really thinks about crypto in general.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing here, and this is very important in my view, is that we vanished a lot of FUD. So we please should remember that when you were on Twitter recently, you saw many people claiming, hey, maybe Tesla dumped their Bitcoin bags. This was like a real thought of us. But now in this live stream in front of Casey Wood, in front of Jack Dorsey, said, no, we at Tesla, we don't do that. And I think this was like a huge statement in that sense. So, of course, maybe, and this is also one thing I want to add here is some people expected that that Elon would say, hey, we allow Bitcoin as a payment method again. We get as bullish as it can get. But please, at the end of the day, Elon runs a company, a very successful company, by the way. And yeah, he has different responsibilities compared to retailers. So I find this very bullish. And the reason why he couldn't say we accept Bitcoin again as a payment method at Tesla is the following. In the end of the day, Tesla is so valuable because they deal so much with carbon credits, and this business would get endangered when accepting Bitcoin as a payment method again. And at the end of the day, I think Elon is kind of a freak. I think the most important thing to him is Tesla and getting to Mars. And if Bitcoin harms this goal in any kind of way, yeah, he acted bearishly. And this was the moment we experienced in May. But now he said, I'm still pro Bitcoin. This was like a big release for us. And I totally understand that he is not getting a Bitcoin bull by tomorrow, but the things he said, make me very optimistic.
I think he's definitely a Bitcoin bull. He even wore the T-shirt that's the evolution of money or something like that, and then how humankind evolved from apes to people with a phone and the Bitcoin logo.
I couldn't believe my eyes actually.
And he even said that he's personally invested heavily into Bitcoin. Like, I mean, this guy is worth more than 100 billion. So if he says he's heavily into Bitcoin, I think it's something between 4 and 5% of his net worth, which would be crazy. If he says then in relation to that, he only holds a little bit of ETH, it's probably like 500 million in ETH. But the point is
only a small amount of DeFi tokens.
Just 100 million in Aave and Compound and Uni, no big positions, not much.
Yeah, but I think he even pointed it out, like, if it were for the money, I would only pump Bitcoin. I would only talk positive about it, but he criticizes it, which is good actually, because you see what happened after he criticized it. A lot of mining farms actually came out and said like, oh, look, we're now fully green. We're even publishing auditing reports and this and that, right? And we're shifting to other regions and geographics. So he actually helped to accelerate the transition for Bitcoin to get fully green. I'm still not 100% convinced that proof of work is the best solution. I think proof of stake is better than proof of work. He didn't say that, but as he holds ETH, he's also kind of betting on proof of stake. And yeah, so that's that. And yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's also like everybody was only looking on Elon and what he said, but I think also Jack, he's amazing. Like what he's doing. He was somewhere in Africa, I think, in Ghana or somewhere, with a fan in the background. And he's just like, man, I want Bitcoin to accelerate world peace. Literally, is what was the last question. Like, what do you expect from Bitcoin? What is your ultimate goal? What is your dream? And he said that Bitcoin helps to achieve world peace. And imagine if the world would run on Bitcoin, on decentralized network, decentralized finance, where you don't have middlemen that decide who gets a loan, who doesn't, who can build a house, ownership, right? Identities, like those are huge problems, especially in Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia. Crypto blockchain DLTs actually fixes this, and Bitcoin is one big part of it. But I think what Jack does also is heavily underrated. Everybody looks on Elon because he has so much power. He's funny. He's like the Dogecoin guy, the memes and all that kind of stuff. But I think Jack also deserves much more credit. And also he said, this was actually a cool thing, that they are building a non-custodial solution that you can hold and probably like send, receive, and hold, basically a wallet. Bitcoin, which is great because a lot of these self-proclaimed Bitcoin maximalists, they tend to promote centralized platforms like BlockFi, like even Coinbase or Tether, right? Which is crazy in my opinion, because then you give away your private keys. And even Elon said that, guys, if you give away your private keys to an exchange or to a centralized middleman like BlockFi or even Celsius, you give them your coins. It's not your coins. And I think both Jack and Elon understand that. So that's why they emphasize that, and and Jack even works on a product for that. So yeah, I think this is again one of the most important things. Besides all the price actions and speculations, are we in a bull run? Are we in a bear market? Doesn't really matter. What really matters is that you have financial sovereignty. We're separating money from state for the first time in history, and this is amazing. But it only works if people understand that they should hold their keys. So yeah, that's I think also very important to point out.
I think we collected a lot of important points here. And I mean, there was so much value in this discussion, and we haven't even talked about Casey Wood that much. I think Casey Wood was also kind of a star of this show because she brought up very important thought pieces. For example, from an institutional perspective, and she brought up the discussion about deflation. So this was also a point where I spent a lot of, or where I paid a lot of attention on it. So overall, I think this was just a masterpiece of intellectual thinking, of mindset, of thoughts. So I think this could be like a ground, like a base layer for the next coming of weeks and months. And I'm very excited. At the end of the day, DeFi, crypto, and all of this is not dependent on Elon Musk, not on Casey Wood, not on Jack Dorsey. We're not dependent on that, but I think we got kind of an insight what the richest people and what the institutions think about this, and it somehow confirms my theory or all the thoughts I had when I was talking to like other interview partners who were deeper into this topic than I. So yeah, this was my takeaway from today's interview.
So what do you think is going to happen now over the next weeks? What if somebody, let's think about this, like if somebody entered crypto recently, let's say this year sometimes, and he holds 40% in cryptos, 60% in stable coins, would you say now is the time to go back in, given like what happened today also in the past few days? Do you think the worst is over, or do you think we should brace for another dump?
Yeah, I mean, it could be the case. Of course, you can't be 100% sure, and this is not financial advice, but I think this could be a turning point in what we've seen during the last few months, because in the end, we need to look back and see how this all started, like the bear trend. How did it all start? It started with one single tweet from Elon, where he basically claimed that, I mean, it started with the energy debate, basically. That's how Bitcoin dumped in the first place. And now we have a confirmation that Elon basically said it because he wanted to cool off the markets. And that's, now we have certainty of why he tweeted it in the first place. And for me, this kind of reverses the FUD. And I think that this could be the turning point in the next, or in this, for this bear trend, that we could see like prices eventually going up again in the short term. Yeah, that's how I see it. I could be wrong, but
short term, you think next week, like in the next
we can't say this. We can't say this.
But what do you feel? What do you think?
No. I don't feel anything, because if you invest, if you're at the market, put your feelings away. No, I mean that's the truth.
I mean, what do you like? What do you feel? Is the market going to? Everybody feels like, are we bullish? Are we bearish?
I say it like this. I would say it like this. So to all the people I talked to in the past couple of weeks, and this made me very bullish. To all the people I talked with, we never talked about charts. We never talked about prices. We just talked about developments and fundamental developments. And very recently, I don't name this guy, but I saw it on Twitter, like, hey, if Bitcoin dumps below $30,000, there will be a bloodbath because there's no resistance or whatever. In the end of the day, there was no bloodbath. We went up to 31K, 32K even in a couple of hours. Okay. So to all the people I talk with, they just focus on the fundamental developments. And that's the takeaway for me, to say, hey, we will see so many major developments within the next couple of weeks and months.
Yeah.
EIP 1559, Arbitrum mainnet launch, Polkadot mainnet launch, just 3 points to mention a few, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. And that's the reason why I'm bullish on the crypto industry for the rest of 2021, definitely. But if we will see like kind of a bull one, or if we see this Lamborghini money, if you want to say it like this, I don't know, I can't tell you, but I can tell you that we are on a very, very, very good path, and I am so happy to be in this industry, and I'm so thankful for everybody who supports DefiTimes, who supports CryptoCito's YouTube channel, and who is a part of this journey, because I think this is awesome what we do here and what we experience here, and just to get the opportunity to exchange knowledge with so many different people, like also with you, day by day. So I think we're on a very good path, and
we are.
It makes fun. And makes fun. This would be my takeaway from all of this.
I think what you're basically saying is that fundamentals and technicals or fundamentals and charts are not correlated. And you see that over and over. Like I remember in 2018, 2019, when people gave up on crypto, literally everybody was giving up, like, oh my God, the price is going down. But back then I was living in Shanghai, and I was on crypto events 4 times a week. I was organizing events myself. I met people who work in this industry full-time, investors, project leaders, founders, whatever, you name it. And I saw this industry is not going to zero. It's impossible. Like there's so many people working on it, putting hours into that, even investing during the bear market. So, and we're seeing the same, right? And back then, Bitcoin went to 3K, Ethereum went to $70 or something like that. Even 1 year and 3 months ago, Ethereum was at below $100, which is crazy to think about. So the fundamentals just go up in one direction, right? It just goes up and up and up. But the price does what it does. And short term, nobody can know what it does. But in that specific case, also kind of like from my experience, and I'm not a trader or anything like that. And many times I'm wrong because I'm also emotional when it comes to markets and trying to time the markets. I'm horrible at that. But what I feel is that everybody is kind of excited now after Elon was so positive and bullish. I think mainstream media is going to pick up on this definitely, which could mean either that, okay, we have bottomed out, 30K was the low, and it held strong for the past couple of weeks, even though we dipped below it yesterday for a few hours or even half a day or something. So that's the first thing. 30K was the low, and now we slowly go up. And then when all these implementations come, the London hard fork on Ethereum, I think is going to have the biggest impact on the crypto markets, not just on Ethereum, but also on Bitcoin, on every other cryptocurrency, because it's one of the largest crypto assets out there. Or the second scenario could be that the whales take this retail FOMO now with Elon and say, okay, now we're going to have one last shakeout, one last mega dump, short everything, dump it, Bitcoin goes to 15, 17, 18K, and then we see this wick and boom, we go back up again. So just this little short, crazy wave of, making people scared. We've seen this so many times in 2018, 2019. I remember 2019, in the middle of 2019, Bitcoin went to 14K. Everybody was bullish again. And then it came another very nasty crash for many months. And then in March of 2020 with the COVID crash, another one, right? So there's always crashes when you expect them the least. So I would be a little bit careful now. If you have cash on the sidelines, maybe scale in very, very slowly and a little bit. Maybe always put limit orders. I think don't buy markets, always put limit orders. And I think right now is the time you can set really good limit orders, even 10% below current spot prices, because you never know what's going to happen. So that's what I would do, what I am doing as well, even though I'm mostly back into the markets already, because I bought the dips too early. But that's just me. But yeah, anyway, I think macro, we have seen Kathy, Elon, Jack, bullish AF, bullish like crazy, even building their own products, and Elon investing heavily into it. Like I said, literally, Elon was saying, if Bitcoin goes down, he loses a lot of money. He literally said that. So he has not just his company involved, but also personally a big stake in Bitcoin, especially. So yeah, I think overall it was a good discussion. So yeah, I think we can wrap it up. Or do you have anything else?
Yeah, I think this wraps up everything quite perfectly. And always act responsible on the markets. And really, I also really want to encourage you that everything can happen in crypto, like literally. So
yeah, exactly. And like you were saying earlier about the TA, I think it's easy to be right with charts in a bull run. Everything goes up, right? Of course, there are some technical levels where you have a lot of buy pressure and sell pressure. So T8, if you are really good and skilled at it, obviously works, but only for a tiny fraction of the traders. I think less than 2 or 3% are actually like professionally like trading and know also their limits. They know when they get completely out of the market. But that's really, really hard to do. So don't listen to kind of like those crypto traders that show you their ref links to Bybit and those kind of things. Most likely you're going to end up losing money. I mean, literally, the disclaimers on those leverage trading platforms literally say most people lose money, don't trade. So it's like going into a casino, especially not with leverage, right? So yeah, don't do that. Stick to fundamentals. Subscribe to our channels here on YouTube, both DefiTimes and CryptoCito. We have 2 channels.
Yeah, because we don't know where we publish this video right now, so just like a general information.
Let's do it in both channels.
Yeah, like if you should share it on CryptoCito's channel, so also subscribe to CryptoCito's YouTube channel and follow us at DefiTimes. The links are always in the description below. And yeah, if we publish it on DefiTimes, vice versa, please, of course, also follow this man's YouTube channel if you don't want to miss out on any altcoin that is going around in the crypto industry, because CryptoCito, we all know it is the Bitcoin, the altcoin ranger. In that sense, it's getting late in Lisbon, and CryptoCito, if you want to come over, you're very welcomed. You're well welcome to our place. So yeah, let's have some beers.
If you have shisha and beers, I'll come.
We will organize a shisha.
All right, man. Thanks. Take
Bye.
care. Don't get wrecked.